Welcome back to Cosmic Galaxy. In this video, we're discussing the shocking truth about telescope. Who invented telescope? Make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell icon. Several men claim to have invented the telescope, but it is generally attributed to Hans Lippershey, a Dutch lensmaker in 1608. The telescope is one of humanity's most important inventions, though we're not sure who deserves credit. Hans Lippershey, a Dutch eyeglass manufacturer, was the first to apply for a patent for a telescope, or Lippershey. Lippershey claimed a device that could magnify objects 3 times in 1608. His telescope featured a concave eyepiece and a convex objective lens. According to legend, he was inspired to create his design after observing 2 children in his shop, holding up 2 lenses that made a distant weather vane appear closer. Others claimed that he stole the design from another eyeglass maker, Zacharias Janssen, at the time. Janssen and Lippershey both worked on optical instruments and lived in the same town. Scholars generally argue that there is no real evidence that Lippershey did not independently develop his telescope. Lippershey is thus credited with inventing the telescope due to the patent application, whereas Janssen is credited with inventing the compound microscope. Both appear to have played a role in the development of both instruments. To add to the confusion, a few weeks after Lippershey, another Dutchman, Jacob Metius, applied for a patent for a telescope. Because of the counterclaims, the Dutch government denied both applications. Officials also stated that the device was simple to replicate, making it difficult to patent. Metius received a small reward, but the government paid Lippershey a large fee to make copies of his telescope. Galileo Galilei heard about the Dutch perspective glasses in 1609 and designed his own within days, despite never having seen one. He improved his device, which could magnify object 20 times, and presented it to the Venetian Senate. Galileo was the first to use a telescope to look up at the sky. He could see the moon's mountains and craters, as well as a ribbon of diffused light arching across the sky, the Milky Way. He also discovered the Saturn's rings, sunspots, and 4 of Jupiter's moons. A spyglass was also used to observe the moon by Thomas Harriot, a British ethnographer and mathematician. Harriot became well known for his visits to early Virginia settlements to document resources. His drawings of the moon from August 1609 predate Galileo's, but they were never published. Galileo became increasingly convinced of the sun-centered Copernican model of the planets as he looked more closely. Galileo dedicated his book Dialogue concerning the 2 chief world systems, Ptolemaic and Copernican, to Pope Urban VIII, but his ideas were deemed heretical, and he was summoned to appear before the Inquisition in Rome in 1633. He pleaded guilty and was sentenced to house arrest, where he worked and wrote until his death in 1642. Scientists in Europe began to improve the telescope. Johannes Kepler studied optics and created a telescope with 2 convex lenses, which caused images to appear upside down. Based on Kepler's writings, Isaac Newton reasoned that a telescope should be made of mirrors rather than lenses and built a reflecting telescope in 1668. The reflecting telescope would come to dominate astronomy centuries later. In 1897, Yerkes Observatory in Williams Bay, Wisconsin, opened the world's largest refracting telescope, one that uses lenses to gather and focus light. However, the 40-inch, 1-meter glass lens at Yerkes was quickly rendered obsolete by larger mirrors. The Hooker 100-inch, 2.5-meter reflecting telescope was installed at Mount Wilson Observatory in Pasadena, California in 1917. It was there that astronomer Edwin Hubble discovered that the Andromeda Nebula was, in fact, a galaxy far, far away, 2.5 million light-years from the Milky Way. Famous telescopes. James Webb Space Telescope. This is the Hubble's successor, and its launch date has been pushed back several times over the years, with the most recent estimate being December 18, 2021. This telescope, unlike Hubble, will be packed far from Earth and out of reach of repair crews. Its science will focus on 4 major themes: the origins of light in the universe, the formation of galaxies, the formation of stars, and the origins of life, including exoplanets. Thank you for watching the video.